You struggling every day trying to make it. I'm aware. Trying to do your best not to end up a statistic. I've been there. It might feel like life is unfair, but I care. You're suffocating and gasping for air, but I'm here, and I care. Let's go back 200 years, back to the slavery days, brought across the ocean in shackles, them cold nights with the wind crashing against the waves, scared to death not knowing what's happening, heart racing 100 miles per second, tied up in the basement, no food or sanitation, clueless on direction or the destination, so much agony and fear written across their faces in cursive. Officers on board keep raping the women, not knowing these women get pregnant, and when they finally have the kids, throw the babies over the ship. Oh, shameless. No one to turn to, everyone's a stranger. Empty stomachs, but yet full of anger. And if the boat get rocky, starts to feel heavy, they go down to the herd and grab a few bodies, tie 'em to a big metal so it goes down rapid, then throw the bodies off as food for the fishes. Oh, they so vicious. So if you were one of the unlucky ones that they chose you, then you better hope that Poseidon beside you. They did so many things to keep down black people, but their faith was so strong that they made it through that hurdle. And when they finally get to the dock, went straight to the market, being sold as property to men with fat wallets. So much injustice with no one to acknowledge. Got 'em picking cotton before their meal digest. Working sun up to sundown, no time to get knowledge. ABCs was a dream, let alone college. Yet still, you struggling every day trying to make it. I'm aware, trying to do your best not to end up a statistic. I've been there. It might feel like life is unfair, but I care. You're suffocating and gasping for air, but I'm here, and I care. Let's go back 150 years to the time when Lincoln was president. Everybody praising this man like he freed slaves, and it's evident. Movies made portraying him as a hero when his heroes were slave owners like Clay and Jefferson. So I don't want to hear about no Emancipation Proclamation, 'cause he only came up with that to end a civil war that was dragging his feet like a lazy person. The founders of this great nation, land of the free, home of the brave, used to tie a big rope to a tree and lynch all the Negroes that would misbehave. And y'all falling for it, please my African people, read your history. 'Cause if we don't preserve it, they'll tell us our culture before slavery is a mystery. And I'm tired of the mistreatment. Why are we waiting for a handout? America has stabbed every culture in the back, but yet we're the only ones still in Band-Aid. Our forefathers came and worked them fields till their backs ache, and I bet they'd roll over in their grave if they witnessed what their sweats made, 'cause they made sweats. Now you're wearing them sweatpants to your knees, saying nigga on my mama after every sentence. I swear this generation is getting worse as we breed. Yet still, you struggling every day trying to make it. I'm aware, trying to do your best not to end up a statistic. I've been there. It might feel like life is unfair, but I care. You're suffocating and gasping for air, but I'm here, and I care. Let's go back 50 years to the Civil Rights Movement. God bless Linda Carroll for having the heart to stand up and set a precedent which set her apart. Brown v. Board desegregated the schools. Then Rosa Parks stood her ground and won't give up her seat. With one speech, MLK inspired a generation. They marched and boycotted to end bad race relations. The Malcolm X inspired the move for black power, with the Nation of Islam to stand up to the cowards. But the whites didn't like all the progression he made, so they conspired to have him assassinated on stage while he's giving a speech to inspire some change. But before all these great civil rights leaders, we have many black greats who deserve a mention. Booker T worked so hard to end segregation. Du Bois formed the well-known NAACP. Tubman managed to get herself out the hands of slavery and still went back to free more through the Underground Railroad. Let's embrace their legacy. These are the people we live for. These are the bloods that we have flowing within our veins. If you close your eyes and think, you can feel all their pain, all the hardships they face to make us one and the same. But it seems we only idolizing rappers and gangs. But still, you struggling every day trying to make it. I'm aware, trying to do your best not to end up a statistic. I've been there. It might feel like life is unfair, but I care. You're suffocating and gasping for air, but I'm here, and I care. Fast forward to the present, it's like we're deep in a sleep, maybe a coma. It's like our only purpose for existence is commas, chasing the almighty dollar every waking moment. It's like every day is a gamble, trying to win a rat race that's rigged with mousetraps, putting ourselves in harm's way daily, fighting for scraps. How are we supposed to succeed when we fail from the start? See, the setting is the ghetto, and every block is surrounded by gun shops and liquor stores. After a certain time, it's not safe to be out, except for drug dealers and whores. Section 8 housing, most filled with single mothers struggling to provide, who were once innocent little girls with dreams of being somebody's bride, working 2 jobs at times, meaning they're barely home to give a youngin' some guidance. With no father figure to raise these kids proper, they go out on the streets and hang out with drug dealers. Then they get to pick a color, blue, red, purple, brown, then shoot down their own brothers if they see 'em come around. The cycle repeats, no room for us to grow. The only thing that goes up in the ghetto is the death toll. You call it gang banging, but to them, this is population control. You probably don't see it, but slavery still exists, and if you're still confused, I'ma explain it a bit. See, the government controlling the mindset of the masses, without us realizing they're still acting like master. How can they look at us and say that we're doing well, cause there's more black people in college than in jail? Now that seems like a huge accomplishment at first glance, until you take a closer look at the details of the stats. The fact that we occupy half the prison population is senseless, while only 70% of college students are black, according to the census. My brothers and sisters, when will we realize everything that they try to convince us of is lies? Women, drugs, and alcohol seem to keep us mesmerized, don't know our due process, but rap lyrics seem much easier to memorize. And cops killing blacks seem to have us traumatized, but it's more of us than them, and they still winning. So it's not about the size. We're already defeated because in our mind is where the terror lies. So we must release the anger and sew up all the torn ties. Set our differences aside, say enough, and be prepared to rise. Like, how can I be free when those who are supposed to protect me is of whom I have to steer clear? How many unanswered pleas for justice that fell on deaf ears? How many mothers must bury their child? Just how many more tears? All blacks are created equal, with life, liberty, and fear. We must stand up for our rights and not accept apologies that are insincere. And let's have faith, because God will deliver the true verdict, not a jury of our peers. You struggling every day trying to make it. I'm aware. Trying to do your best not to end up a statistic. I've been there. It might feel like life is unfair, but I care. You're suffocating and gasping for air, but I'm here, and I care.